Hello, and welcome to the studio of Opening the Door to the Unknown. I am your host, Dr. Clark Schmidt. I hope that this program will be unique from other YouTube channels that have the emphasis on the paranormal. I wanted to go two ways in the opening. One, as like my radio show, Celestial Visions Talking, back in the late 1990s. And two, a video-like program in which you as the audience can watch me here in the studio. I opted for the visual. Opening the Door to the Unknown will be 1 hour of great entertainment. The discussions will be on the subject of UFOs, MIBs, reincarnation, opening one's psychic abilities, energy systems of the body as to strengthen for a healthier you, personal experiences of ghost hunting and UFOs and with MIBs. I hope to have interviews with a special guest. We'll talk about magic and other tidbits of information, and possibly and probably a question and answer time by you viewers writing down below what is on your mind with the metaphysical and esoterical. This will be your channel for the information you seek and truth on the unknown. But before we get started, and I have always had a belief is that one should give a small autobiography about themselves so the audience knows just what the person knows or doesn't know about the subject that they are talking about. So what I'm going to do for just a few moments is give a little autobiography about myself so you know where I'm coming from as your host of Opening the Door to the Unknown. I have been in the metaphysical and esoterical for going on almost 59 years. In fact, next year will be my 59th year. During my lifetime, I have opened up to psychic abilities, clairaudient, clairsentient. I practiced to become a physical medium and a mental medium. I belong to two UFO organizations, National Investigating Committee on Aerial Phenomena back in the early 70s, and also with UFOIC, Unidentified Flying Object Investigating Committee back in the late 1960s. I also at the age of 18 joined a magical order and am recognized as a high magician or a magus. I created a UFO group called Psychic Phenomena Research Organization, again back in the early 70s. I created a school, Celestial Visions School of Metaphysical Arts, back in 1995, that was opened for 6 years. From there, I created a radio show called Celestial Visions Talking, which was a 13-week gig. Let me see. Created also through the school the Universal Parapsychological and Metaphysical Association, and the Universal Brotherhood of Illumination, which UPMA is still somewhat in existence, which means is that those members are still there are still members within the association itself, even though is that the association is not functioning. Okay. Let's see. I created also two 900 psychic lines, one for a friend of mine and also one for my wife. And I actually picked out, personally picked out psychics and mediums that were going to be on the line. So there was no phoniness by people reading like some type of script. And that lasted for about both of them lasted for about two years. And I also wrote two books. One was on tantric meditation and the function of purpose of self, and also a short story called Dream Demon, which was a fictional type book. So, like I said, I have done a lot of things within the realm of the metaphysical and the esoterical. Let me see. Okay. Just didn't know which way I wanted to go. If I wanted to go with my rant first, or if I wanted to talk about a little bit of what is the metaphysical and the esoterical compared to parapsychology. So I think I'm going to go getting into just a little bit what the esoterics and the metaphysical is compared to parapsychology. Somebody asked me one time, is that you being a doctor of esoteric science, what do you do? And I looked at this person and I said, I said, the best way to answer your question is for me to ask you a couple of questions. And so the person said, well, yeah, go ahead. I said, okay. Did you ever watch the movies, back in the 30s and 40s, the old Universal type of movies like Dracula, The Wolfman, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, let's see, yeah. I said, okay. I said, well, just think of me as being like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll was a scientist, a doctor, and he believed that there was something within humans. If you wanted to call it the primordial man, but the only way to bring out this second person was through taking chemicals. So what did Jekyll do one night? He was playing around with chemicals, and all of a sudden he drank the concoction, and all of a sudden the primordial man came out, and he called this person Mr. Hyde. Well, that was through the act of alchemy, transformation. All right? Frankenstein was a doctor, and he wanted to create man. He had what I called was the God complex. So what did he do? He got bodies sewn, took what he wanted from the bodies, and he sewed up a man. And he was waiting for a thunderstorm one night at the castle, and he put this man on, and he put this being on a gurney, sent it up through the roof, and waited till lightning struck, brought it back down, and he found out is that the lightning caused this being to become alive. The only difference though was this person that he created didn't have a soul. It was just a being. Again, transformation, alchemy. Dracula. How did Dracula come about? Well, Dracula was a prince in Romania that belonged to the Order of the Dragon. And he believed in, and he was such a devoted Christian that he fought for his kingdom, and also he fought for God until his wife died, and he all of a sudden cursed God. And he decided is that he was going to live, but not as a human, but as a creature of the night, like a vampire. So he willed himself as to become that vampire. Again, through alchemy. The Wolfman. Again, the transformation of alchemy, where he got bitten by a werewolf, and only during the full moon did he make that transformation from man to wolf. So I said to this person that asked me, just think of me as being Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Dracula, Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde. And also like the Invisible Man, again as a doctor and also as an alchemist, where he took a chemical to where he became invisible. So during the late 19th century, all the books that were written, like Frankenstein, well, you can't say Frankenstein because Frankenstein was back in the late 17th century, is that it was on the, how should I say, the element, okay, of, again, alchemy. So somebody can say as well, I'm a doctor that transforms. I'm a doctor that transforms in certain ways. If it's teaching, like when I taught in school, how to become, how to opening up one's psychic abilities, how to become a psychic healer, how to experience a past life, how to perform astral projection. Okay, it's all transformation. Okay, all transformation. So that's what actually esoterics and metaphysics is. It's a transformation. Meta means above the normal, okay? And esoterics means mysteries, outside. You can use 4 words. You can use the word objective, subjective, consciousness, and skepticism. The metaphysician and the esoteric scientist will work with being objective in their field of study. Okay? Now, let's go to the other side of the spectrum. Now you have parapsychology. Well, the parapsychologist was the word parapsychology was created during the early 19th century by a gentleman who was a psychologist named Fyodor. Before calling themselves parapsychologists, the scientist of the day, the chemist, the doctor, the religious leader, the mathematician, the physicist, the astronomer, they were called physical researchers. And these gentlemen would only be investigating on the psychic aspect of human nature or human behavior. And what did they investigate? They investigated telepathy and thought transference and mediumship and ghost hunting and other subjects. And they were more being subjective instead of being objective, which means is that if you were psychic and they were doing doing research on you, they could come out and say is that they could follow, not follow, but do the same thing that you could do, either through clairaudient abilities, clairsentient abilities, clairvoyant abilities, working with telepathy, working with thought transference, working with cross correspondence, working with, well, you just name it. They said as they could copy it and do a better job, which means as they tried to prove that you were a phony. So during that time, they created a society called the Society of Physical Research in London, where these scientists met and they discussed and wrote treaties on the subject of the subjects on the paranormal, to where the metaphysician and the esoteric scientists were learning mystery school thought behind closed doors, if you will. And they didn't discuss what they were learning outside their mystery schools, where the parapsychologist wrote papers about the fakery of mediumship, telepathy, astral projection, life after death, reincarnation. That was their job. That was exactly their job, was to disprove, to go into the subjective realm instead of being objective in their research. So, I am more objective in what I do compared to being subjective. Now, I'm not saying that all parapsychologists um, are subjective. There are some good psychologists that have gone objective in their research. You might have like J.B. Ryan, um, again Fedor, um, 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 Carl Jung, and sometimes Sigmund Freud. So these were the people again that believed in the paranormal. Um, but again, it's really hard. It is really hard to explain the unknown. That's the reason why they call it the unknown. That's the reason why I called this program opening the door to the unknown. So you can walk through with me and learn what the unknown is. And like I said, we're going to be talking about many subjects. There's going to be many, many, many doors that are going to be opened. And like I said, some will be surprises. All right, some will definitely be surprises. And it's good. And again, it's going to be fun. So now you know just a little bit between metaphysics to metaphysics, esoterics, and parapsychology. You also know a little bit about me now. So now I like to go into a rant, if I may. It's not, how should I say, it's going to be just my opinion. It's nobody else's, but it's just mine. And so I'm just trying to vision here how I want to start. I guess I'll just start it this way: is that I go through YouTube when I have nothing better to do, and I like watching a lot of the paranormal groups, and I like learning. All right, like I said to my students, I am not a walking encyclopedia. I said there are subjects that I won't even touch, I won't even discuss because I do not know the subject matter. I stay within what I call my parameters or goalposts. And this is my goalpost right here, just like that. And I don't extend the goalpost out, which means is if I don't know the subject and I don't talk about it, I try to get answers for the person through people or associates that I work with that do know the subject. Say for an example, I got a friend. He's a doctor of esoterics, and he's fantastic. He is fantastic on tarot. He works with tarot with astrology. I do not know astrology, but I do know tarot. So I work with tarot and the tree of life, the Kabbalah, for an example. But when it comes to tarot and astrology, if I want answers, I get a hold of this friend of mine that knows, because he is I don't want to say expert, because I do not believe that everybody's an expert in the field of the paranormal. So I would have to say as he's damn proficient in what he knows on the subject of the tarot and astrology. But anyways, like I said, I do go through the YouTube channels, and like I said, there are some groups that I like to listen to because I do learn something by what they're doing. And there's a lot of times I could help them to advance. Okay. But there's one particular person, and I don't like mentioning names, but there's one particular person that I have watched a few times, and he is just totally, how should I say, it just pissed me off. Okay, totally has pissed me off. And you're asking yourself, well, how did this person piss you off? You never talked to him. You're absolutely right. Never talk to him. But by listening to what this person has said and has done is what pisses me off. Okay? I don't have to talk to a person to see and to listen by what they're trying to portray to the viewer through his channel, through his recordings, through visual. Okay. And what this man has stated emphatically, that he has been chosen. Now, I don't know if he meant to be chosen in one or two ways. One is to be the spokesperson for the people in the paranormal, or two, as to be chosen to help people cross over into a higher realm of spiritual existence. I do believe it's the latter of saying is that he has been chosen to help people cross over into a higher spiritual existence. And I say two words on that: bullshit. And he said is that he got as the chosen one through a spirit box. Through a spirit box that he said is that spirit has chosen him to be the go-between. And again, I say bullshit. Number one, spirit will not say is that you have been chosen to represent us to do this, or to represent us to do that. Okay? That's a crock. No spirit. Oops, let me see if I can. Okay. No spirit is going to say is that you've been chosen to represent them in this or to represent them in that. And here's another thing. You cannot help cross spirit over into a higher realm, especially working with the so-called white light. That's a fabrication. Complete fabrication. Now, I'm going to explain here in just a moment just what the white light actually is. And then I'm going to explain how spirit, in the realm that they are residing in, how they have to, through their own volition, intervention, is to get themselves into a higher plane, into a higher astral plane, for an example. Okay, Like I said, it's not going to be me, and it's not going to be this person who said is that he has been chosen to do this. Okay? First of all, let's work with the white light. The white light, everybody talks about the white light. I work within the white light. As you can see in the background here is that you see what? White light. Okay? And it has illuminated a little bit into the room. Now, if I open up the curtain like this, now you can see you're blinded, or I'm blinded. I'll do it once more. Okay, there. This is working, this is the white light. It's not doing anything besides illuminating the room for me. And I can take away the white light just by putting the curtain back, which I'm going to do here because I got a glare. But that's what your white light is. Okay? It's to illuminate. It's to brighten. To brighten. Okay? That's all the white light does, is to brighten. Now, a lot of people say is that, well, if I surround myself with the white light, is that it's going to protect me from negative influences. That is correct. If you have a bright light, you're not going to get darkness until that light has dissipated to where dark is beginning to fall upon this portion of the planet, or this half of the planet where I reside, for an example. Okay? So you do have a balance. You have dark, light, a balance. So if you surround yourself with white light, say if you're meditating, yes, it's going to protect darker influences to stay away. Okay, that's all the white light does, is to illuminate. You don't pass over. You can't put that person into the white light to help that person or to help that spirit pass over to move into a higher astral plane. Like I said, spirit has to learn to do that themselves. You cannot help. You might say to spirit, just like if you were a teacher teaching a student, you can say to that spirit as saying to the student, I can help you learn how to do math, as a person can say as to the spirit if they're talking through what is it? A spirit box can say is, I can help you, give you suggestions how to move up into a higher plane of existence, but I cannot put you, take you, hold your spiritual hand and move you into the white light so you travel into a higher dimensional or higher astral plane. Again, it's bullshit. Can't be done. It's not going to happen. And if people believe that by this person, then it's like the old expression is, well, if you believe that person, I can say the Brooklyn Bridge, or I can, sell you the Empire State Building, or I can guarantee you that you listen to the numbers I give you, you're going to win the $100 billion lottery. That no way, no how. Okay. No way, no how is that going to happen. So like I said, if people want to believe in this person saying is, well, I'm going to put them into the light and I'm going to send them up because I've been chosen by Spirit talking to me through a spirit box. I say is, hey, believe what you want. God love you. Okay? Just believe what you want. God love you. Now, I'm going to explain how Spirit can actually help themselves. There we go. I can explain how they can help themselves. Okay. And I'll be talking more about this subject during another opening the door to the unknown. So I'm not going to get into the whole study of it. Okay, I'm just going to give you I'm just going to whet your appetite. Okay, but let's take a look at the dimension, at the astral dimensions or the astral planes. Okay, you have the physical plane of existence that we reside. You have the lower astral. That's when you when you astral project. When you astral project at night, that's where you reside, where your astral body travels in the lower. Then you have what they call is the mid astral. Then you have the mental. Then you have what they call is the mental causal plane astral. Then you have what they call is the spiritual plane. And then you have what they call is reaching Godhead, to the source, to the one, to the universal consciousness. Those who die, which we all will, okay, but those who die and stay within the lower plane, that would be like when they astral project, when they were alive, when their astral body projected when they were sound asleep and traveling in the lower astral, and that's where they stay. They become like ghosts. And I'll be talking more about that later on through one of the doors that we travel through. But they become ghosts, which means is that sometimes they don't even know they're dead. Or sometimes they just want to sometimes they just want to stick around. You know, it's just like if you saw the movie Ghost, or what's another, not Ghostbusters, but say like some other type of horror movies. But let's just say is that if the spirit wants to stick around in the lower astral, okay, maybe they might have some unfinished business that they have to finish out, or maybe they just don't know how to move up into that next dimensional astral plane. Okay, so let's look at it this way. Let's say you have a ladder, and naturally you got the rungs to the ladder. Okay, and say that you want to get to the roof to fix a leak. So you put the ladder against the house, and you start climbing the rungs until you reach the roof to where you can get onto the roof. Okay, that's the normal procedure of getting to the roof, of climbing a ladder. But say they can't find that ladder. Okay? They can't find that ladder. because maybe they're not looking. Maybe it's too hard for them to find that ladder. Possible, many reasons possible. But okay, now they found the ladder because maybe you told them, hey, you got to find a ladder. You got to start climbing a rung to get into a higher astral, to the next astral plane up, or maybe even moving farther up. All right? But here, again, you have this person that has, how should I say, put the ladder to the roof, and now he's saying instead of climbing the first rung, I can take you to the top rung to get to the roof. I guarantee you put a ladder against the roof and step on the first rung and try to get to the top rung to get to the roof. Ain't going to happen. When you start that, all of a sudden what's going to happen? The ladder is going to start to what? Shift, and all of a sudden, boom, your keister is on the ground. Okay? That's the only way that spirit is going to get into that next higher astral dimensional plane, is by beginning to climb the ladder. Now again, that spirit can climb as many rungs that they want to, and you're not going to help them. All right? There ain't going to be no damn white light that's going to shine upon the ladder. There ain't going to be no white light that you're going to grab the person's hand and drag and walk them to it and say, get into the white light, because the white light's going to zip you up like an elevator up to the cosmic consciousness. Ain't going to happen. Okay? So if you hear through spirit box, help me, you can help them by saying hey, find that ladder, begin to climb up. There is a way out of your abyss. Okay? And it ain't going to be walking through no damn white light. Again, as like an elevator to get them to climb, to make that elevator get them to the top floor. Ain't going to happen. Like I said, you can see the light right here. And I open the curtain, boom, now you got the white, okay, now you got almost complete illumination. Okay? That's the only, that's all it does. Keeping again the dark away. All right. So, like I said, if you want to listen to this person, go right ahead. But he ate too many beans. And you know what happens when you eat too many beans, okay? Okay, I just lost my train of thought here for a moment. Then this person said is that he helped Johnny Cash. That he helped Johnny Cash out of hell and got him to the white light to make that crossover. Again, standing in the white light to be like the elevator to take him up, him up into a higher dimensional astral higher dimensional astral plane existence. BS. I don't think that Johnny Cash needed any help from anybody to move into a higher plane of existence. And the reason why is because Johnny Cash had the has the consciousness of being spiritual. And somebody that's highly spiritual, as Johnny Cash was before he passed over, didn't need anybody's help to transform him from the lower astral into a higher astral, because Cash found a ladder and he climbed up the rungs by himself. Now June might have been right behind Johnny, but this person did not transform Cash from the lower, putting him into the white light, or crossing him over from, getting him into the white light to be the elevator. Okay, that's a bunch of malarkey. There ain't no damn elevator to take somebody again into a higher plane of existence, especially in the spiritual planes. Okay. Now I will be at some point be talking about ghosts and well, not ghosts per se, but demons. All right. We'll be talking about demons, which will be an interesting subject. As well. So like I said, one more time and if you want to listen to this particular person on his YouTube channel, go right ahead. God love you. But I can tell you, as of right now, he's talking through his rear end, because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking. He has no idea what the hell he is actually talking about. Okay. So I'm the type of person that will bring stuff out to people to get them to know the truth. Again, to know the truth by opening the door to that particular unknown, to get to the truth of that unknown. All right? Because I don't like people that don't know what they're talking about BSing other people as to follow them, or as to have a bigger ego, or to say is that I'm smarter than you because I know a little bit more than you, because maybe I did a little bit more studying. And I can tell you, like I used to tell my students, is that I'm always waiting I'm like a gunfighter. Like I used to tell my students, I'm like a gunfighter, and I'm standing out in the street waiting for that gunfighter who claims to be faster than I am, to step out onto the street and see who is the fastest. Okay. And there has been a lot of challenges, and I'm still classified as the gunfighter. Okay. Not saying that there is somebody more faster than I am in the metaphysical, but being in the metaphysical and esoterics for almost going on 59 years, I think I am a little bit faster than this person who claims to have been chosen to help people cross over into the white light as an elevator to move them up into a higher astral plane. I think I'm just a little bit faster than that. Okay. Let's see here. I think that's all I think is for the first step, for the first chapter opening the doors to the unknown. Um, I think we had a little bit of fun. I hope that you did learn something. I hope that you did learn something. Um, and like I said, um, this will be fun to create just for you. This will be your channel to come to if you want to learn the many aspects of the metaphysical and of the esoterical. Okay? So I do hope that you come and visit. I do hope that you come into the studio. And I do hope if you have any questions, write them down. Because if I get questions, I will have an answer. I mean, you know, I will video a special presentation just to answer the questions asked. I always like to have people learn. If they're interested enough to peruse the YouTube channels that have people in the paranormal, like I said, for the ghost clubs, or for information, then they are expanding, they are learning and expanding their mind, and that's the idea. And I'll be talking more about that during one of opening the doors to the unknown. Okay. I see that my producer is giving me the high sign that it's almost time, and I only got a few minutes left. So I just want to say I thank you for stopping in and perusing the first chapter of Opening the Door to the Unknown. And like I said, I hope that you come back for more. And like I said, I'm going to try to make it better each time, so we can have a little bit more, more fun, and again, for more information. So until next time, this is your host. Until next time, this is your host, Dr. Clark Schmidt, saying thank you and have a great day. This has been a production of Opening the Door to the Unknown with your host, Dr. Clark Schmidt. Copyright 2016.